Yo, what up, fam? This your boy Sid, the RC guy, and we're here with Tom, the slot car guy. Tom, how we doing?
Oh, wonderful. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. This is part 3 of the video, and as you guys can see, we are once again in Tom's beautiful home, and I'm itching to get this car running because this is a beautiful track behind me. He may not let me run on it because I think he's seen me drive before, and I don't blame him. So anyways, we have picked a car, well I picked a car at least, after some recommendations from Tom of what I think would be awesome to build and work on, and we went with a Ninco S. Can you tell us just some basics about the car a little bit?
Ninco is a Spanish company. A lot of the slot cars out there are Spanish companies. These are very well made. They come with, the basic ones come with plastic wheels and rubber tires, but their rubber tires are actually some of the best on the market. They work very well on plastic track as opposed to some of the other brands that are okay, but these seem to be really well done. It's a good starter car. There are not a lot of pieces to break off the wing, obviously, but it's not a problem. The mirrors are actually rubberized, so they won't break. It comes with it's called an NC5 motor. It's rated at 20,000 RPMs at 14.5 volts. Most motors are rated at 12 volts, but this is an excellent motor. It's very torquey and very fun to drive. Just a real basic car, but a good one to start with.
Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on over to the workbench. Tom said that he's got a few magic tricks that he can show us on real basic tuning when you just buy a car and maybe you don't have the money to buy the extra tires and the different things. Because he was telling me that you can take the magnets out, and that's how some of the bigger guys run. Tires, wheels, a lot of different things you can change. But we're going to show you real basic maintenance of things you can do to make this car a little bit quicker. So we're going to head on over to the workbench and show you how it's done.
All right. First thing you want to do with the car, obviously it needs to be oiled. Most cars just have a real basic mounting system with a couple, anywhere from 2 to 4 Phillips head screws. This one uses 2. Drop the chassis off. You can kind of see how everything's set up. This is called an angle winder setup, which is the preferred setup for most people. Again, it's a real basic chassis. The front axle just snaps in here, but it still works pretty well. It's a little sloppy, and there are some other things you can do to fix that. Some cars will come with a little bit of grease, some cars won't, but I always want to put some oil on it anyway. You always want to put a little oil on each one of the bushings where the axle goes through the back. Just a drop or so, make sure it's plastic compatible, because these are plastic gears that come with these. Just a couple drops on the gear. And the same in the front, just a couple drops where it snaps into the chassis. And that will make a big difference on the way it spins. Everything here looks pretty good. I generally kind of do it like this, because a lot of plastic wheels aren't round, and sometimes they're not on there very well. However, the magnet, if you're running with magnets, that will kind of hide the flaws in it. So this one isn't too bad. It's a little off, but not too bad. Front wheels are... yeah, they're a little off too. So this would be a car that if you decided to run it just stock without the magnet, it's going to be a little jumpy just because, you know, of the way the wheels are. But that's the drawback to some of the plastic wheels. But on the other hand, this is a really, there's a really good price on these cars, so it's worth it. But anyway, I'm going to jump over to the tire sander real quick and do a little sanding on the tires and see if we can true them up just a bit. Alright, just for some basic sanding, well, the best thing to do is put a rubber band around the controller to have it on all the time. I don't have a rubber band with me, so I'm just going to put it in my little holder and with the trigger on all the time. It'll make the car run like this. Just hold it. It makes it a little easier with the magnet, just because it stays on the track a little bit better. And just sand the tires. It gets some of there's a little bit of film on them sometimes, and I'll take it off, and the edges, it's easier to sand them kind of going the opposite way. This works a little bit better, and it's a lot easier to do with the chassis off too. And that should actually give them a little bit better traction. Real simple to do. Now a few people, I can show you my sanding station over here. It's a real simple thing to do. Just a power supply and a piece of track, and you can set up your own sanding and cleaning station. Alright, this is just a real basic sanding station. This is a piece of Carrera track. with a pyramid power supply. I've got it set up so when you put the car on, it runs backward. For some reason, it seems to be easier to sand the tires going backwards because you can hold it. It's a little easier to hold it. Now I've got two different grids of paper on here. I'd start with the rougher stuff and just sand it. You can kind of tell when the whole tire is sanded. It kind of changes. You get rid of some of the gloss on it, and then I go to the finer. It kind of finishes sanding on it. And then I go to this is AJ's tire cleaner. We use it exclusively in our clubs here. And that'll clean any residue that the sanding has left on it. And you're all set to go. Okay, now if you're really serious about racing, this is a tire truer. This is the one, this is the type that you can take the whole rear axle out. It fits right in these little grooves right here. The belt goes on the back and it goes around. This has a set screw and it goes in the middle of the axle, and it'll true up both tires at the same time. This is the way I did it, was just a real basic thing to kind of rough the tires up and get some of the gloss off them and give them a little bit better traction. This will actually true them up. Even if the wheel's out around, it'll actually still true the tire up, so they're actually really round, and it really smooths the way the car runs out. These can be a little pricey, but again, if you're just kind of playing around at home, it's not necessary. Something like this works just fine. If you're really serious about racing, I highly recommend a tire truer. Like I say, it makes a huge difference in the way the car runs. It makes it smoother, and it's really the tire truer of choice for serious racers. So, but beware, like I say, they're in the $200 range. So it's if you're going to get serious about it. Otherwise, stay away from it. Just do the real basic tuning, and you'll be just fine.
Alright folks, you've seen some basics of how to tune your car out the box. Hopefully I'm going to hit the track here pretty quick and have some fun after a lesson or two from Tom. So thank you, Tom, once again for helping us out.
No problem.
Stay tuned for more videos, guys. We've got plenty more tuning coming on. Tires, non-magnets, all kinds of stuff that I can think or that you've told me about. So
Yeah, changing wheels and tires and gears and axles and everything to make a car like we just showed you into a true competitor.
yeah, so we definitely got more stuff to come. As always, guys, please check us out on Facebook, Colpar's Hobby Town. We have 2 different pages. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as Tom always says,
keep it in the slot.
Laters, guys.